Good day, boys and girls, and thank you for joining in for another lesson with Mr. Fieck. Today we are going to do a little bit of Unit 6 review, Part 1. This is the first video in a two-part series doing some review problems. We're going to do 3 problems reviewing today, and the Part 2 video will have another 3 problems reviewing some of the mastery concepts in Unit 6. So there is no learning target for the lesson today because all of the stuff that we're covering today should be review and just reviewing the mastery concepts in Unit 6. So let's jump right in. It says Marco is using the doubling and halving strategy to solve 25 times 56. Fill in the blanks and arrays in the equation to represent his work. So doubling and halving, so 25 and 56, so 1 went to 50. Well, let's see, 25 doubled would be 50, so if they doubled this one, I have to half 56, and half of 50 is 25, half of 6 is 3, so 25 plus 3, so this would be 28 then. So then 25 times 26, doubling and halving went 50, my dimensions doubled and half, so now I'm at a 50 by 28. And then they want me to do it one more time. Well, I have to keep doubling and halving the same one. So if I doubled 25, doubled 50, I have to double it again. So that would be 100. And then 28 halved would be 14. So then my equation is 100 by 14. And again, the doubling and halving strategy is exactly that. It's a strategy to get you to friendly numbers to make the multiplication problem that much easier. So now I'm at 100 times 14, which is pretty friendly. That's just, well, 14 times 1 is 14, and then I have 1, 2 zeros after it. So 2 zeros, so my answer would be 1,400 using the doubling and halving strategy, which we talked about earlier in Unit 6. All right, let's look at the next problem. This is just a multiplication problem using an area model. So I have a 10, and remember this would be a 10 plus 5, so this I know is 15, but now I have to figure out 10 times what gets me 160. Well, really anything times 10 just increases a place value, so this would be 16, or 16 times 10 is 160. And then, so now I know I have a 16 by 15 area, and then I have to figure out what is 16 times 5. Oh, well, I know 5 is half of 10, so if 16 times 10 is 160, 16 times 5 would be half of 160, which in this case would be 80. Or I could break it up and do 10 times 5. 10 times 5 is 50, and 6 times 5 is 30. 50 plus 30 is 80. And then I have to add these together. 160 plus 80. Well, I know 40 plus 160 is going to give me 200. I would have 40 left. So this would be 240. Or you could do standard algorithm, stack them and add them and carry. But, okay. So multiplication using the area model. And then for the last one today, we're going to do a multi-step problem. It says the scouts are collecting canned food to donate to the food bank. Their goal is to collect 550 cans of food. By the end of the first hour, they collected 13 bags with 16 cans of food in each bag. By the end of the second hour, they had collected 12 more bags with 15 cans of food in each bag. How many more cans of food do they need to collect to meet their goal of 550? Wow, show all work. There's a lot in this problem in that. All right, so now we got to think, okay, what is the big question asking? Well, how many more cans of food? And usually when you see how many more, that means it's going to be a subtraction problem. But what do we know? We know their goal is 550. They collected 13 bags with 16 cans of food. So do we know the total amount of cans that are in there? Or are we trying to find the total? So in this case, we're trying to find the total. So we need to figure out what is 13 times 16. So I'm going to set up my area model. 10 plus 3 and 10 plus 6. Set up my area model and draw this up. Then I'm going to do the multiplication, and 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 6 is 60. And 6 times 3 is 18. And then I need to add those all together. Well, I know 60 and 30 is 90. 90 plus this 10 is 100, and then I have 8 left, so that's 108 for these three, plus another 100. So this would be 208. Okay, then it said by the end of the second hour, they collected 12 more bags with 15 cans of food in each bag. So again, we need to find how many total cans of food is in that bag. So I'm going to set it up again, area model, 10 plus 5. And then just like the last problem, I'm going to try to be an efficient mathematician. And instead of breaking the 10, you could do 10 plus 2 again, but I'm just going to keep this at 12 because I think I can handle that. So 12 times 10, well, that's increasing a place value, so 120. Now again, 5 is half of 10. So 12 times 5 would be half of 120, which is 60. And then I add those two together. 120 plus 60 is 180. Okay, and then again, we're looking at how many more do they need to reach their goal of 550. Well, now we need to figure out the total amount they collected. We have 180 plus 208, so I'm going to add those two together to figure out the total amount that they've collected so far. So 8 plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 0 is 8, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So they have collected a total of 388 items. And they want to meet their goal of 550. How many more? So now we have to take 550 minus and find the difference between how many they have collected and how many more they need. And this is where, again, we can use, you could use standard subtraction and you borrow from the tens place and bring that over, or use constant difference to give, or take. And in this case, I'm going to give to here and give to here, so then I end up with 552 minus 390 to subtract. So then I'm 2 minus 0 is 2. And now I still have to, even though, or I could do it again and give 10 and give 10, and then I'd be 562 minus 400, which would be 162. So they would need 162 items yet to meet their goal. So the scouts need to collect 162 more cans of food to meet their goal. You could have, if we wanted to, just keep it simple and do standard algorithm. And again, this constant difference strategy is just a strategy to help you get to a more friendly number, so we don't have to borrow. But you could, okay, 4, I'm going to borrow 4 here. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. I can't take 8 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow 1 from the hundreds place and bring 10 over. 14 minus 8 is 6, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So either way, and I could have done it if I added 2 each, but then I'm still borrowing and then do it again. So either way, it's just a strategy we've talked about in class to help us get to more friendly numbers when subtracting, just like the doubling and halving helps us get to more friendly numbers when we're multiplying. I hope this helps. Hope you have a wonderful day. Go make it a great day, and thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for the next lesson with Mr. Fieck. Make it a great day, boys and girls.